Carter is a well-known jeweler, and through a newspaper, you learn that he is preparing for a remarkable jewelry exhibition. Just as you were amazed by the colorful life of wealthy people, you received a commission to investigate a missing person case. The client is Mr. Carter himself. His wife mysteriously disappeared from their bedroom not long ago. He suspects someone is trying to harm him, so he hired you to investigate this case and temporarily act as his bodyguard. You decide to accept this commission and prepare to take a car ride to Carter's luxurious mansion, located in the suburbs. During the journey, you pass through a picturesque forest. The sunny weather gives off an atmosphere of tranquility and peace of mind. On both sides of the road are fields shaded by green trees, with gentle breeze brushing against your ears. Perhaps there won't be too many surprises in this mission. Or so you think.
On a country road, a girl wearing a black hat is driving a small car. You are sitting in the back seat as you are frequently looking back at the rear of the car and breathing a sigh of relief when you see that no one is following behind.
Just a moment ago, you escaped from a gang of robbers. Your car broke down unexpectedly on the road. You wanted to go to a gas station to repair it, but you encountered a gang of robbers. And just as you hesitated, a car rushed by, knocking out the robbers, and she immediately pulled you into the vehicle. You briefly talk and realize that you are both going to the Carter's residence. She doubtfully asks you,
"Why are you going to Carter's? Something must happen to his family. It's not safe there. His wife went missing. Such a shocking case. I just want to help him as much as I can. I am also a friend of his. He did me some favors before."
Saya nodded. In the meantime, a black cat is on the passenger side, lazing in the sunlight.
"Her name is Snow, isn't she cute?"
You reach out to Snow and touch her head. She's not afraid of strangers. Petting her soft fur, you feel a bit more relaxed.
"Aren't you worried about being in danger? Carter's home may be targeted by somebody." "Are you afraid of danger then, Saya?" "I'm not. Say, if I'm actually a professional hitman, cold-blooded and ruthless, killed a lot of people, would you believe it?" "I don't believe it, Miss Saya. You were just trying to be funny. A beautiful lady with a cat, you must be a good person."
Hearing your words, the corners of Saya's mouth rose slightly. She points at the glove compartment. Saya hinted to you that there's something inside the drawer. Open it now.
"I shall keep your secret a secret." "Guess what I am going to do then?" "Mr. Carter must have invited you, and I won't ask why. I am a killer, not a romantic, but I do a lot of acting, mostly lively roles. I solve problems without hesitation. Please don't get in my way, okay? If so, I'll just be your audience."
The sky gradually darkened, and thin clouds appeared above. It looks like it might rain at any moment. The sun is about to set and you have reached the familiar road near the Carter mansion. Saya drifts around the bend skillfully, slams on the gas pedal, and charges toward the Carter's mansion and into the parking lot. You see a woman greeting you on the side of the road. The woman is dressed in a butler's uniform, about 40 or 50 years old, with no signs of sluggishness or a hunchback. She wears a uniform that butlers would only wear with a straight torso, giving a sense of reliability. At this moment, you see Carter in the study above the mansion. Seems to be busy talking, but strangely there is no one in front of him. He is holding a glowing iron piece, constantly communicating with it. The housekeeper looks at the preoccupied Carter and politely bows in front of you to apologize.
My master has been waiting in the study for a long time. Please let me lead you to him now.
Led by a housekeeper, you observe your surroundings. The moon shone with difficulty under the clouds, and night came silently. In front of you is a magnificent building, Mr. Carter's mansion, a quaint country house on a manor outside Berlin. Behind the villa are a large garden with a servant's quarters, a visitor's quarters, and a large welcoming dining room. The three-story house features beautiful marble sculptures on the porches and eaves, and exquisite sandalwood carvings on the door frames and walls. This magnificent building that stands in front of you is actually a huge diner. There are some servants coming and going. Comparing to the housekeeper, they look a little worn out.
Ever since that incident, the house servants are scared. I am sorry to ease their spirits. It's time for them to relax, but if there is any lack of hospitality, feel free to call me.
The housekeeper explains a lot along the way, and tells you that Carter has created a communicator called a cell phone to facilitate remote conversations, which he has just used to communicate with his business partners. Just as you are admiring Carter's mind, you are already in the study.
My friends who have come all this way, sorry for the long wait. Before explaining the case, there is a treasure I want to show you.
Noises of mechanical activation hum, and before you, an apparent glass stand emerged from the center of the table, presenting a shiny and beautiful sapphire. It's embedded in a sandalwood statue. The gem shines just on its head.
I've always heard that Mr. Carter is more than a successful businessman. He was also a knowledgeable inventor. I've seen that with my own eyes today.
Skills alone are not worth bragging about.
I purchased this antique from an auction house. The gems on it are priceless.
Carter's words make you stare at the gem. When you look at the gem, you experience a strange illusion. This gleaming gem appears to be absorbing the surrounding light, much like a black hole devouring everything. Your vision begins to tremble, as if countless streamers burst from the gem. You cannot describe the color of the streamers, but just feel an overwhelming sense of fear and intimidated. You are experiencing intense sensory stimulation. The light fades, and Carter's voice pulls you back to reality.
It has called Soladnit as a rare gem that I had polished in the Far East and sent to the mansion. It as priceless and incomparable. There is another reason I invited you to admire it. I suspect it may be related to my wife's disappearance.
How can this gem be related to Madam's disappearance?
Here is the thing. Once I brought this gem to the mansion, strange things started happening. Like the maids noticing signs of vandalism, flowers being pulled out of the garden, strange noises coming from the hallway, and so on. I suspect that someone has been after my gems, and that they are trying to sabotage my life, waiting for an opportunity to take this treasure away. My wife's disappearance may be part of the conspiracy.
In that case, why did you put the gemstone in such a dangerous place? What if it is seen and stolen during the display?
Haha, it's actually not dangerous. Under this mansion is my underground vault, where gems are stored. What you just saw is just a holographic projection. Follow me. I will take you to the lady's room first, and we can talk about any problems on the way.
Unfortunately, Just after Carter finished speaking, he receives another call and rushes out.
Apologies. My master is probably going to be busy again. But it's fine. He gave me instructions in advance, so let me take you to the scene of the crime.
The housekeeper took you out of the study and into the corridor of the mansion. The hustle and bustle of the day gradually dissipated, and the doubts of the night hit the heart. When the prosperity is gone, what will be left? You don't know, and you won't find the answer. There are many rooms in Carter's mansion, but most of the rooms on the first and second floors are filled with fine exhibits of jewelry and statues. His room is on the second floor, on the right side of the corridor. Opposite his room is Madame's bedroom. The mansion has no other rooms occupied. Many of them have become utility rooms for the maid's work supplies or Carter's collections. As if he hasn't decided where to place them, the housekeeper shows you to the door of Mrs. Carter's room. The housekeeper pushes the door open, and in front of you is a very cozy room, colored mainly with pink.
This used to be that little lady's room, but she passed away due to a catastrophic car accident 5 years ago. It was a great shock for Mistress Carter, and she had lived here ever since. It's a shame to think about it now. I didn't know much about the day she disappeared, so I took the liberty of tidying up the room. Pardon me.
What have you put in place?
A diary fell on the floor. I recognized it as Miss Diary, so I put it back on the table. Madame had always treasured that diary, but somehow she dropped it on the floor again. I was confused by this.
Snow. I'm going to take care of Snow. My bad.
Master has instructed me to cooperate with the guests in their investigation. So I'll wait here for now.
You see a layer of security mesh under the window. You can see that the Carters are very concerned about security measures. This eliminates the possibility of break-ins and people jumping out of windows to escape. The moon was blocked by thick clouds, and the windows seemed to be fogged up. In front of you, the window reflected something. A figure is getting clear in it. It is not the silhouette of you. You see a figure. She is holding a diary, standing by the window, reading it then. Likely, she notices you. She screams. The diary falls to the ground, the reflection disappears, and the figure evaporates.
My head hurts. Something's wrong with this room.
The bed remains the same as it was the day Madame disappeared. You find many empty pill bottles under the bed.
These are all addictive drugs. The death of her daughter was overwhelming.
I had advised Madame to mind her health. But even if I don't give her drugs, she would find them somewhere else. She once cut herself with a kitchen knife and then passed out. Fortunately, the night watchman found her in time and she was saved. Later, the master could not bear to see Madame grieving like that, so he let her take the drugs.
You mean Madame Carter could have been lost in delirium due to her drug addiction?
Don't rule out this possibility. The master's mansion is large and has many collections. We had to give up searching in some places for fear of damaging the collection.
You pull out the drawers and check them one by one, only to find some expensive cosmetics. These bottles and jars are neatly arranged. It seems that the madam is very concerned about the rules and order. No dust on the floor. It seems that the room is cleaned daily. But when you look at the wall corner, you find some small cracks. They do not seem to be caused by external impact. It looks like the wall structure is damaged and cracked from the inside.
Snow, you can't just scratch anything here, you know. Otherwise, you won't be able to compensate, or even if sell yourself away.
Not much is in this diary, but it seems to have been written by Mr. Carter's daughter in this country. She rarely lived at home. The diary ends abruptly one day, probably the day she met her demise. The writing at the end is blurry, as if it had been smeared by water.
The contents are pitifully little.
Just as you are about to close the diary, your hand touches the ink on the last page. A powerful shock runs through your mind. Your brain roars, and the walls around you collapse. You see a skinny, young girl walking down the street. Suddenly, a car speeds by and runs over her ruthlessly. Bewildered, you barely make out that it's a vintage black car. Your focus quickly shifts from the girl, as you realize the car is heading straight in your direction. Unable to move, the car collides with you and the illusion fades. You lose your balance, but Saya reaches out and supports you, preventing you from falling. But the horrifying illusion still remains in your head, which makes you hold your head and moan bitterly.
What happened to you?
You rub your forehead. The vertigo is relieved to some degree, and you warn Saya.
Don't go near this book. I saw something disturbing. What did you see? Then, I saw someone get in a fatal car accident. It was a vintage black car. Then it ran over the body and hit me.
Black vehicle, classic.
Wait, does it resemble the one in the parking lot? I wasn't paying attention to the cars in the parking lot, and the hallucination ended so abruptly. I only know the model and color.
I'm gonna check this diary too.
She opens the diary in a hurry to look through it, but she seems fine. For some reason, she didn't experience the hallucination like you did. Instead, she says with a sense of pity,
I expected something interesting to happen.
In fact, I think the date may have been erased by the madam herself. Perhaps she does not want to remember that terrible day. Madam has always been very fragile. After the death of her daughter, she was even in a trance.
Have you encountered anything strange with the diary? Like being hit by a car or something?
No, how weird.
Did anything strange happen during the time before the lady disappeared?
I don't know much about that. Although I come here every day to clean the room, I can't stay here all the time.
Alright. We will look for other clues here.
As you please, my guest.
We'll just look around here.
the bed remains the same as it was. You see Saya putting a metal disc under the portrait when the housekeeper isn't looking.
What are you?
Saya gestures you to be quiet.
Sometimes finding the truth requires certain techniques. Did you find anything there? Indeed, there is something wrong with this room. But there are no more clues at the moment. I think we can start with the other rooms. Well, let's go straight to Mr. Carter's room. Housekeeper, can we go to Mr. Carter's room?
No problem, sir. You are free to go anywhere as you please.
You can now choose to go to Carter's room to investigate. Will you go there now?
Master's room is a bit messy. Mind your step.
Carter's room is taken up by books and files everywhere. The table is littered with power cords and electrical components.
The day after the accident, my master moved into the study and never moved back. There is probably nothing important here, but you may take a look as you please.
What's the stand for?
Do you mean that shelf? Well, the master was very excited when he got Soladnit. Almost every day, he looks at that beautiful gemstone on the side of the shelf with a magnifying glass. It is as if he is enchanted by it. However, after realizing that he may be targeted by thieves, he deposited the gem in an underground vault. I heard that he also hired a detective who solved many supernatural incidents. And she will come here tomorrow.
Well, hope she is easy to talk with. Let us get started, partner. The sooner we finish, the sooner we can rest. Well, I hope that I have a comfortable room.
Don't you worry, I have prepared rooms for the both of you.
Oh, we can sleep in the same room. We are a good combo. After all, it asks for us to make plans together.
Understood.
Let's find clues, partner. Only one room. Did you even think about asking me first?
These files are all related to jewel trade. You lost interest. You find that Carter's stand holds more treasures than anything else. His hobby seems to have changed drastically, and he is keen on collecting these strange stones. You notice a pattern on the stand, and wonder if you could find some information. The pattern on the shelf catches your attention and you recall the knowledge base in your brain. You remember an article on ancient folklore, which seemed to be some kind of ritual paraphernalia, but you can't think of more.
This stand is an antique found by my master, but I do not know where he found it. He likes these strange things. Just please don't mind it.
Well, there are some rich people who are obsessed with secret history. Common hobby indeed. I need to take a picture. Maybe these materials can worth the gain of this trip.
You notice that the housekeeper doesn't try to stop Saya. But at the moment when Saya picks up the camera, ready to take a picture,
How can it be?
she takes out a gun from her garter and shoots at the stand. After firing her gun, Saya snapped out of her delirious state. She gasps and collapses feebly.
Saya?
Miss Saya, what's wrong?
No, nothing. There's something wrong with this stand. You'd better ask Mr. Carter to throw it away.
I will let my master know.
You know that dangerous situations wouldn't normally scare Saya. She must have witnessed something terrifying.
Did Mr. Carter physically touch the stand? For a long time.
Yes, but the master seems fine. I will inform the master of these problems as soon as possible. Is there anything else I can do for you?
It's late, and Saya is not in a good state of mind. Why don't we go back to our room and rest?
The housekeeper nods and starts to lead you to your room. Saya seems to regain some of her spirits.
Thanks, I'm much better now.
She hesitates for a while. Seeing the housekeeper leave, she decides to tell you about it.
The house I saw just now is completely different from what it should be. The stand does not exist, and the room is distorted. Everything around is complex shapes. Not invisible, but too complex to describe the shape. They want to tear me and draw me to the front. It is hard for me to describe how I felt just now. I'm sorry. I made you worry about me. Everything is fine if you rate okay. I am almost done. So you can go get some rest.
You found that most of these gems were broken, and under your careful observation, you found one of the intact ones engraved with an ancient mark. Brass-colored, small, and slender rectangular box with many tiny depressions. Extending from one side of the box are 5 flexible metal tubes, and each of them has a 1-inch metal needle at the end.
It really looks like a tool for torture.
It looks like a radio, but it is different from any style you have ever seen. When searching for the information, you found a book about mysticism, and you try to learn from it. You found that most of these gems were broken, and under your careful observation, you found one of the intact ones engraved with an ancient mark. You find a manual sketch in the drawer, but it's framed. An immense Arugos cone 10 feet high, 10 feet diameters at the bottom, all covered in uneven scale. You don't know what it is. Not a machine, nor a living creature.
Design sketches will be framed. Carter's mind is really unique.
Perhaps there are times when hoarding qualifies as a disorder. Apart from the blanket, the bed is largely disorganized. On the bed, you can see a lot of design drawings and Carter's essay, which is full of random thoughts. You discovered a piece of yellowed paper under the bed with some strange symbols written on it, some of which are words you recognize. This is the limit of the times. Below, you can see the crossed out symbols that have been circled and marked as important.
I've never seen these symbols. Simply asking Carter may not get us the right answer. I wonder if we can find an expert to decipher it.
Please, follow me.
Snow, come back.
Snow is running away. Saya chases after him subconsciously.
Saya, hold on.
Long time no see. You are still a rascal.
You follow Saya to the garden, where the lights are on. Snow is standing on the well in the middle of the garden.
Come here, Snow. That's not a place for your playing. Oh, where is the housekeeper? We can't find the room without her.
You look behind. For some reason, the housekeeper is not following you.
Saya, you are so fast. It takes efforts to chase you up, even for me. Let's just wait here.
There are lights in the garden. You can see every flower clearly. Looking around, only the well is still dark, pitch black. There are so many small lighting around, and somehow you feel like you're being stared at by something. The freshly renovated soil and the surrounding flowers seem to have just been planted. Paradoxically, the leaves of the bushes here turn gray. It was as if it had lost part of its vitality and looked sick. You always feel as if it's saying something to why.
Neither Saya nor I know the way. The housekeeper could find us.
You see a strange mist. It creeps slowly as if it were alive, making you feel nauseous. As if you see something you shouldn't have seen. But you don't have time to pull your head back. There is a cold feeling behind you. At this moment, you hear a strange voice. No, it's not that strange, but you can't believe it. It's someone's voice, like an exclamation or surprise. That thing is surprised by your reaction. Then you hear a word clearly off, and the voice goes away. You feel as if a cold hand has touched your neck. It's like an indication, or a warning.
What happened? There was a person behind me. Maybe. I didn't find anything abnormal in this short time.
Why did you suddenly came so far? I almost couldn't make a response.
Snow almost fell into the well, but we're fine now.
I see. It's good that you are fine. This well was found by my master before he built the mansion. Something may have happened before, but I don't know the details. Only the master is keen to explore these mysterious events.
Is there water in this well? How deep is it?
Not sure. It was abandoned long ago. Nobody uses it.
Then you see the housekeeper frown.
Well, I'm too old to stay up late. It's getting late now. Follow me to the room for rest, my guests.
Knowing that the well must be unusual, you would. Although it's very dark outside, you are still keenly aware that there are many small cracks on the inner edge of the well. Hard to notice. These cracks clearly did not exist before. They interlock like blood vessels. A black liquid begins to leak from the cracks, flowing outward along the well.
Saya, housekeeper. Where are you? I'm doomed.
Carter's name is displayed on the phone and then you hear a sound from inside. It is a strange, odd, indescribable moaning sound. You seem to understand a few words. Very few words. But you can feel the magic, a wonderful force that attracts you. Like a black hole, swallowing you whole. Then you find it to be not a prayer, nor a whisper, but a person speaking, asking for help. That voice, young and energetic, but shrouded in sadness, is shouting at you.
Help us.
You are in a trance and your phone falls to the ground. You find that the call is not made at all. When you come to your senses, you realize it's not Carter's voice at all. It is a terrifying alien emitting an icy blue light with only an outline, as if it is made of thousands of stars. Your body is pierced by some invisible blade. You are unable to move, like a prey falling into a trap and waiting. The abnormal creature in the distance is approaching you. Just when you are unwilling to let your fate come to an end, you hear the cat mowing softly. At this moment, you feel as if you feel something indescribable. Your wounds heal, but you don't feel the tenderness of healing. What rushes into you is a wild, bohemian force. You seem to be able to regain control of yourself. You know you should try to get up and run at this time. It's the brink of life and death.
Run.
You see a world that has achieved mechanical civilization, with large buildings stretching countless miles away and countless closed air, vehicles flying fast in the air, However, behind the air vehicles, you see a wave of alien-shaped monsters. Those things shuttle and jump across space, constantly shooting down the air vehicles. At this time, Saya and the housekeeper are anxiously looking for you in the courtyard of the mansion. Your figure appear by the well. At this time, Saya finds you and she rushes forward anxiously and asks about your situation. But the sleepiness that hits your mind doesn't give you time to answer. The world is turned upside down, and after a slight noise, everything is silent. Guest room. The housekeeper leads you into the guest room and leaves after confirming you are all right. Saya does not go to bed at once. She takes out all her equipment for maintenance and takes a nap leaning on the edge of the bed. At this time, you are asleep, suffering from a terrible nightmare. You feel like tortured by the rolling magma. That horrible impulse hidden in your body is always shaking your will. You feel that you may collapse at any time and begin to scratch the sheets, your clothes and everything at reach maniacal eye. You try to relieve your pain, but it's all a lead balloon. You hear armors and weapons clashing beside your ear, just as the flowing lava or an injured beast will make. You can feel the slaughter and sadness in your voice, but you can't do anything. You can't do anything. You are helpless. You feel so small and powerless. Your mind is standing still, innocent and helpless. Suddenly, you see the terrible magma emerging from the ground. You find yourself kneeling in a small space in the center of the lava, and the ground under your feet is collapsing, an inch by an inch, like the death gently wielding a scythe. You feel terrified and at a loss, but the chaos and tingling in your body are gone. You fall into the magma. You feel the hot fire pouring into your seven senses. Countless hands reach out from under the molten slurry, grab your forearms, your hands, your neck, your thighs, your ankles. You feel the incomparable fear. You see the burning piles of bones, a lead blaster white. You want to escape, but you have no way out. You suddenly open your eyes and wake up from the nightmare, when you were swallowed up by the bubbling magma. You wake up with deep fatigue and is in low spirits. Your limbs sore.
SHH.
Seeing that you are awake now, Saya gestured you to be silent.
Something is happening.
Now you hear the sound of footsteps outside the door. It seems very far away, and as if very close. It's hard to comprehend.
Don't turn on the light. The light may attract that unknown creature.
Coming carefully to the back of the door, you feel a little uncomfortable with the warm light leaking through the crack of the door. After all, you have just woken up, and for a while, your eyes can't stand the light. You look out through the peephole, only to see a small empty corridor. The corridor light is on constantly. The sky outside is still dark, and there is no moonlight. You try to listen to the outside. The wandering footsteps faded away and soon disappeared. However, when you are about to lose your breath, you see a small crack in the corner between the door and the wall, just as if something is stretching out from the crack. At this moment, you suddenly feel an eerie faint. You hear a strange whisper, which is not like any language existing, or once existed. It is completely beyond your knowledge. For one moment, you have the illusion that kittens are mowing before you, but you soon came back to your senses. You find your heart rate fast, your breath short, and your cheeks burning. You don't know what did you hear, but you could feel the impact of that whisper on yourself. You begin to understand. It is like a call. Something is calling you, calling your name. And then your hallucinations begin to expand. Like growing moss. Like fermented wine. You see every cat in front of you. You know them. You know each of them. They surround you. Mowing with warmth. Striving to please you. Everything in the illusion is still so virtual and wonderful. You feel your body temperature rising crazily. And you begin to lose control. You feel a wave of dizziness. Then you slip against the wall and fall on the cold floor. Your consciousness falls into darkness. And before you completely lose consciousness, you feel as if something gently caresses your head. You instinctively realize the touch to be completely harmless. Just as a caress. You gradually lose consciousness. And fall asleep. Saya woke up first.
Thank God we're fine.
Seeing you lying on the floor with her, she understood the situation instantly.
Partner, it's time to work, shall we?
You are waken up by Saya. After waking up, you hurriedly told Saya everything that happened to you before. Saya puts on a serious look and analyzes slowly.
Seems like a certain power is protecting us. We could have gone missing just like the madam. We must meet Mr. Carter today, then. Well, it is necessary to talk with Carter properly. But for now, let's go to the ballroom first. The housekeeper told me yesterday that there will be a grand banquet. We should feast on dishes we've never seen before. Don't worry so much. Say, carpe diem. Let's go.
You see Saya talking to a girl. A young girl who looks 16 or so. Her hair shiny and styled. Skin fair and young. Neck slim and delicate. A remarkable beauty.
Hello. Are you the detectives that received Mr. Carter's requests? Who are you? What do you want?
The young lady seems to be very happy when she hears Saya's voice. She hops up and runs over. Hugs Saya instantly without any concern.
My name is Sherry. I heard that something happened to the big man and came to see. What's your name?
You feel a familiar smell on the girl. Like perfume, no. Body fragrance. You seem to have smelled it somewhere. And it's been late. But you can't remember anything more.
The name's Saya. I'm here for that investigation. Sherry, it's my honor to meet you.
You also introduced yourself and complimented Sherry's appearance. The girl is very happy to hear you praise her beauty. But she seems to prefer to stick to the first sight of Saya. Just grimacing with you.
Thanks. Do you come to us for something? Something happened indeed. Carter's housekeeper wrote to me that seems to have been an incident here. Anything fun?
Sherry introduced herself as a college student majoring in archaeology and came to the manor after hearing interesting stories. According to the housekeeper, you remembered that a paranormal expert will come today.
I see. Can you let go of me? Oh, I'm so sorry. I heard that you have encountered a lot of paranormal events. Care to tell me a bit? We saw something indescribable and experienced a phenomenon similar to time travel. Anyway, it's something that can't be described in words. What the what? Time travel? Indescribable? Is it something that can't be seen?
I think so. At that time I was physically exhausted, so I didn't know what was going on there.
What a shame. Anyway, it's already 8 o'clock. How about having some breakfast?
Let's go. I'm starving.
You come to the banquet hall. And the housekeeper is giving orders to the servants as if they just finished breakfast. Sherry immediately ran up and greeted her. She just smiled helplessly.
So you've arrived. Did you have a good rest yesterday?
She seems to have read your Aunt Saya's mind and stopped working on the schedule.
It seems you have a lot of questions. Then let's take it one step at a time.
Have you seen my cat? Snow disappeared after I got up.
This sounds quite serious. I'll be sure to call the servants to find it.
When will Mr. Carter be back?
The master didn't answer my call. I don't know when he will be back.
Did anything strange happen in the hallway late last night?
I'm too old to stay up late. So I rested after I went back, and I don't know the specific situation.
Do we have any medical tools in the estate? If you get hurt, we can still heal you.
Hearing someone mention medical tools, Sherry's ears perked up.
I have it here. Does anyone need treatment?
Sherry felt your suspicious gaze, puffed up her cheeks angrily, and looked at the housekeeper behind her.
HMPH. What do you mean by that? How dare they doubt me? Ace, testify for me.
The housekeeper feels helpless to be involved.
Well, where shall I start? Anyway, it's complicated, but she's indeed an experienced doctor. Well, please allow me for retiring first. There is an important exhibition today, and I need to arrange it for a while.
Then let's enjoy the food first too. I agree too.
You hear he is complaining with a little sound. Damn housekeeper, why let me keep the door here? And when he saw you were looking at him, he hastily showed a professional smile.
Dear guest, please don't mind my words.
This servant really has a personality.
Even the dinner plates are custom made at a great cost. I am so proud to work for Mr. Carter.
So many co-workers leave recently. They just resigned because of the rumors. I won't give up the generous salary here. The housekeeper asked me to look after the exhibits here. Hope nothing happens.
It's a gorgeous gold necklace, yet you notice the unsettling red paint on it, as if it were stained with blood. Puzzled, you see the mark of the collection below, Marie Antoinette's necklace, with a short description. Each piece of jewelry has its own history.
It's a royal piece, which can't be fake. But Carter would never collect a fake like this. What are you doing, sir?
Quiet.
It seems that he will only speak to me if something got his interests.
Sir, would you like to know more about Carter's collection?
Lying was never a virtue.
He turned around, not believing what you said, but you did get his attention.
Well, it's true that I exaggerated a bit. Found this by accident, and I was hoping that you can translate it for me.
You handed him the files of odd symbols.
Is this written in hieroglyph? No, it's a much older form of the script.
You see him pull out an old notebook and start cross-checking. Nodding, shaking his head, as if he could barely read the words. But nothing seemed right. By the time you realize it, he has already transcribed all the words in his notebook.
Stealing from others was neither a virtue.
Sorry, I need to go back and study this carefully. But right now I can only understand some of them. It's about how a tribe was slaughtered. The name of the tribe is a bit strange, which I can't describe it. It's pronounced Eth in phonetic script.
Eve.
Yes, well, I've told you everything I can. Don't say that I stole anything from you.
The crystal sphere was placed on a metal table, looking simple and unpretentious. Undoubtedly, it's an odd thing in Carter's collection. You always have the illusion of being watched by the crystal when you stare at it. Looking through the green jade, you feel a vivid vibe through the green jade. Like the timely rain, refreshing your mind. Yet the gem became a bit dull.
Guess I shouldn't stare at this gem for too long. Otherwise people will notice.
A beautiful amber jade stone is placed on the glass table in the room. The base of the stone is a mighty beast claw that has broken out of the ground. The beast claws hold the jade, like a knight guarding the princess. Staring at the gem, for a moment you seem to smell the unique earthy smell of the desert. You see on the damp ground what looks like a green Easter Island statue. Its faintly glowing green appendages are overgrown to the point of indistinguishable shape. And you hear it whisper seductively without a mouth. You woke up consciously and find a leaf in your hand, sensing the danger that it contains.
That statue wants me to pass on the leaf.
Inside the transparent glass enclosure was a fascinating black and purple diamond, which did not emit even the slightest light. The inside of the stone in the light. You can see the flow of some liquid, as if the soul of the host.
Will diamonds also have water guts?
As you stare at this burning gem, you feel like you have been transported into the vast expanse of outer space. You feel a gaze coming from above your head, and when you look up, a huge burning star is staring at you.
Burn. Burn it all.
You realize that something is wrong with you, hastily forgetting the scene you saw, but the glimmer of fire has buried itself deep into your eyes. They haven't decorated this counter yet. You see a maid lying on the ground, clutching her chest, speechless in pain. When she sees you coming, she points you to the medicine bottle in her pocket. It is weird that the bottle doesn't have any instructions. Without hesitation, you took out a dark purple pill and gave it to her. After a while, she calmed her breath and stood up slowly to thank you.
Your heart not... Do you want to go to the hospital now? Well, it is not what you think. This is because I didn't take the pills on time. Take the pill. What's happened? I cannot tell you. I have signed an agreement, and breaking it will not only lose my job, but also a large amount of fine. I am an investigator who was hired by Mr. Carter to solve his wife's missing case. For some investigation in my job, Mr. Carter has already given me enough authority to do what I want. So it won't violate your agreement, I suppose. No, I can't do that. Those fines, even spending my whole life paying it is not enough. I am sorry. Even you helped me. Well, then I will get some pills to investigate. This might have a connection to Mistress Carter's missing. Okay, I will give you that, but please don't tell anyone I give it to you. Sir, Mr. Carter will hold the grand dinner. I have to finish my job first. Well, go ahead. Would anyone really come to this place to see those stones?
That lady is so hard to serve.
Impressive. It only took a year to build such a mansion in a remote village.
title is boring. Would you like to play cards with me?
This well-dressed lady invites you to play cards with her and you are going to.
My lady, this is my pleasure. But hopefully the game won't be tied to money.
It's okay, I enjoy the collision of wisdom. But if you can beat me, I can tell you a secret.
After she finished speaking, she took out a pair of exquisite playing cards from her bag. The gameplay is very simple, is style, and your game begins. However, after several games in a row and you never won once,
Do you think I am really playing cards with you?
you hear the lady's hint, and you know her success in this string of victories can never be a matter of luck. So you start watching her trick. You finally found out that every time she shuffled the cards, she would transfer a pile of cards to the other hand and then cut 3 cards and shuffle the cards to the top. When you cut the cards, you found a small gap in a pile of cards below, and you draw a card from another deck and put it in that gap, and then the deck is restored.
My lady, I hope luck is on my side this time.
Alright, you win. Since you have a good eyesight, I will tell you a secret and a commission for you.
Yes, my lady, please.
Actually, I'm not a guest invited by Mr. Carter. Just use this identity to do one thing. I hope you can help me find the portrait that was mine. Must be in Mr. Carter's room.
You heard her mumbling descriptions. A huge iridescent cone, covered with some kind of uneven scales. She has a nostalgic look on her face and you seem to have a little impression of her description.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Well, you could think about it, and please be aware of it is not free. If you help me to find it, I will give you one thing which you can use.
The flower beds are very tidy and there are some well-trimmed plants inside, and you were lucky enough to find some for leaf clover.
Black car.
It is a black car and you are not sure if it is the same one that attacks you in the illusion. But the white crystal in front of the car attracts your notice. You look at it unconsciously and you feel your soul is absorbed by it. You sit in a black car and you see a black figure sitting in the driver's seat. And it is madness.
Although it will succeed if it is you, I will send you to a world which you dream of. She will not understand me, but you will write.
Then the shadow stepped on the accelerator hard and the car ran quickly along the street. Followed by the scene you experienced before. The girl was twisted and broken by the huge impact force and then fell heavily to the ground. The car stopped after sliding for a few meters. And the black shadow rushed towards the girl frantically.
Although this is not possible, you should successfully travel through time. It can't be like this.
However, there is no response and the girl's pupils have already diverged, but you, in the car, see a vague white figure appearing in front of the car. And you feel its hesitation and confusion. You are about to speak, but suddenly there are countless slender arms in the car. They grab your limbs, cover your mouth, cover your eyes, and you quickly pass out. You wake up from the hallucination with a sharp tingling in your brain. You find that the white crystal that is originally in the front of the car has now come to your palm. You find that the ground behind the vehicle is a thick metal plate. Surprisingly, there is a card lock on the metal plate that is the same as the room door.
There's a ghost. Why? Why do I have to do the cleaning today? What brought you here? Ampere hours. Dear guest, the housekeeper said you would solve the problem in this mansion. Can you really fix it? Our investigation always takes time. So what were you chanting? Where are the ghosts? It's in the madam's room. Ever since madam disappeared, everyone who cleaned that room has disappeared at night. More than one person has disappeared. Obviously, I shouldn't be there, but the one who should be there has resigned and gone home. If it weren't for the annual salary given by the master, I would have resigned too. If so, let me do it for you then, just as I've come for investigation. That's so nice of you.
But she handed the room card directly to you, like throwing a hot potato, and ran away quickly. An etiquette mirror is placed here. The mirror's surface is a bit blurred due to the water vapor. You feel that the atmosphere here is a bit scary. You see the mist in the mirror and making it difficult for you to see the picture in the mirror. And then, the mist is approaching you. You see a mist attached to the glass and a figure emerges from the glass in front of you. Through the reflection of the mirror in the hallway, you see a man dressed as a servant swiping his card and sneaking into the study room and then running out of it in a panicked way, each holding a book of documents in his hand. And the image disappears and the fog comes toward you. Then you hear a painful cry.
Help us. My head hurts.
You find out that man is the one who sneaked into the study room before. You are going to.
Got you.
Stop. Here is all the information I have collected. All the thing is yours. I won't investigate any further.
Is he not an ordinary thief?
You find that there seemed to be some misunderstanding, but you still took over the bounded documents to view. Here are some bills about the direction of funds. And there are tens of millions of transfer transactions. You find information about various politicians and some gray industries in the bill. There are place names of dozens of countries in it. And the area formed in series is like a spider web that radiates to the world. You understand that this is Carter's bribery blacklist. And it's also a magic book that seals the devil's real name.
Did you find this document? How dare you stay here?
I was just looking for some trail material to go undercover here. I did not expect that just taking a piece of document would be such a deadly thing. I know if I run away, I will definitely not survive. So I want to find a chance to put it back into study room. But all kinds of things have been happening lately, and I cannot find a chance. Now you have also seen this document. Please, don't kill me.
Okay, then give me the stolen study room door card. I will help you put this back.
Alright, all for you, all is yours.
He also gave you the crowbar on his body. Why does he have a crowbar on his body? The moment you reach out and close the door, you suddenly go into a trance. And in an instant, countless twisted hands seem to appear on the walls, floors, and ceilings, twisting and rushing toward your face. Those hands quickly grabbed you. They grabbed your arms, legs, knees, and covered your mouth and eyes, and made you lose the ability to resist. And then you hear a voice.
Help us.
It is like yelling, like a roar, like a cry of pain, like a dying prayer. No. It's a collection of all feelings. And you see countless people on the edge of the cliff asking for help. But in the end, they are all pushed from behind by something to the deep and dark bottom before you answer. You feel a moment of disorientation. And in a panic you take 2 steps back and fall to the ground at this moment. The illusion disappears. You feel that the scene just now is like a dream. You cannot help but feel dazzling.
Is this a warning to me?
When searching for the information, you found a book about the thick black theory and you tried to learn from it. You open the drawer to find various contracts, sealed document bags, and some personal seals. These things are all cluttered together and use so much room in the drawer that you accidentally drop a stack of documents. When you put the document back, you found a card in an open file bag. There are a lot of books on the shelf, such as Gemcraft Appreciation, Garden Appreciation, and World Treasure Investigation. You look around and find a file bag in the gap under the shelf. That is a transparent file bag. You turn it over and find a torn diary page on the back of the piece of paper. You open the file and pull out the journal pages. Research has confirmed that as long as there is a large enough interaction between the same instrument, the feat of crossing the door can be achieved. Black car first experiment rose failed. You feel a resentful aura approaching you. A strong sense of impact swept your mind and your brain banged with the surrounding scene collapsed. You see blurry white shadows wandering around the mansion and no one can spot them. It just wanders around without purpose, and when it hears crying from a room, it goes into that room. You see a mid-aged lady crying before some notes, and it seems that it is affected by her sadness and wanting to comfort her but cannot say anything. They are in an untouchable world. No one can sense their existence. It feels very painful and uses all its strength to hug that lady. But the breath on it becomes confusion. A large amount of resentment is attracted by it. The lady seems to have seen a terrifying scene and her already fragile consciousness couldn't resist the fear and fell into a coma. After, its constant calls for help only added some weird rumors in the mansion. You can see the blurry white shades in the illusion approaching you and you feel the chill from your arms. A small amount of white mist wrapped your arm up and you hear clearly words from that girl.
Save me, please save me.
You are watching the blurry girl shade in front of you. She is holding your hand, and the tears drop from her face. And behind her, Shade in the crack also hold her layer by layer. Those endless shade cry out, "Save us." A huge force comes from your arm and you know you have to make choice. The shade behind the girl is layer by layer and you know you cannot bring that much shade back to reality. As the girl is going to be dragged into the crack, the crystal you carried grows a little light and there is a crack appears on the crystal. A phantom that is exactly the same as the girl in front of you emerges from the crystal. The two phantoms overlap and the girl's body glows with color. Those arms gradually slip from her body and you feel the pulling force weakening. Cracks continue to appear around the crystal. And finally, turn into powder. And the girl's body also changes from vague to solid in the end. The other world shade you see disappears completely. And she is completely separated from the other world. And you recognize that this girl is Carter's daughter, Rosalu. With a happy smile on her face at moment and she pulls up the corner of her skirt and bows her head to thank you.
Thank you.
Before you could say anything, you saw the girl's figure gradually fade away and disappear.
It feels really good to be thanked to.
This is an old box that holds treasures. You found an ancient sharp weapon in the chest.
What a great knife.
You take down the bug that Saya left behind, curious about what you might find. You press the play button on the bug and hear the voice of a middle-aged woman.
The well it is so dark I am going crazy, let me out.
Then came a strange voice.
Mom, don't you recognize me?
No, you are not my daughter.
The bug finally rustles. But no matter how much you replay it, the sound from earlier doesn't come through.
A middle-aged female voice. Could it be the madam that well just mentioned? See, to complete the commission must go in a trip.
You are meticulous and I believe you will be able to help me.
Impressive. It only took a year to build such.
Speaking of which, Sherry, where are you from? How did you come alone as if your parents didn't care about you?
They are archaeologists like me. Right now, they are busy investigating the ruins in foreign countries, which is not my concern anymore.
You see the housekeeper gesturing to Sherry in the distance.
Well, I'm going to lend Ace a hand. Bye for now too.
Saya, what are you going to do next? I'm a little concerned about the guy who attacked us last night. I'm going to look into Carter. It's not a good idea to have too many people by my side. I also have some things to investigate. Madam's disappearance may not be as simple as what Carter said. Guess I'll take a walk around, and we can meet in the guest room too.
Then that's the deal too.
How did you come? Keep it quiet.
You follow Saya's direction and see Sherry talking to the housekeeper.
Do you want what happened before to happen again?
Why not? I'll I'll just hang around and get to know them a bit.
No means no.
Sherry walks forward and gives the housekeeper a hug.
Don't worry, Ace. I have my own judgment.
The housekeeper shakes her head helplessly.
I still have some errands to run. Please, don't get me into trouble.
Hide now. Okay, don't be shy. If you have any questions, just ask. We are friends, right?
How did you know I'm here?
Hearing your question, Sherry smiled slightly and raised her right index finger to her mouth.
A little bird told me so too. I'll tell you when it's necessary. Anyway, come with me first. It's too boring to just wander around aimlessly. Let's go have some fun, shall we?
She takes the door card out and swipes it at the door. And the door makes a crisp click. And pops open a crack. You have no idea when she got the card. You see Sherry pick up a file from the shelf and read it. And you notice that it's a messy draft. It has been on the table since last night, but no one ever cared.
Carter is interesting. He is planning to build something. What is his purpose? Hold this too if there is a professional you can ask.
Saya, why are you standing so far? Strange. Just now I want to try the camera again to take pictures. The results did not appear yesterday's situation. What is going on? I might think of your word as madness if I didn't encounter this mysterious situation. Saya. Well, same situation didn't show up. Either the time is wrong or something is missing. So you think the housekeeper is suspicious? Well, she is helping us. None of the truth was told by her. Indeed, we walked around the house and encountered a mysterious attack at night yesterday. But the housekeeper found nothing unusual. And until now, I still feel very apprehensive. Just like yesterday on the highway, there are dozens of cops running after me. I am a dignified killer and feel like I am going to be killed.
Although Saya spoke with ease, you still felt her unease. So you teased her.
If I were you, I would have stopped and surrendered in that situation. Even if the killer will not stand under the dangerous wall, we have to wait for Carter to come back and persuade him to sell the house. Yeah, he is so rich anyway.
It's time to go. I do not want to be caught in the act.
You go from Carter's room back into the hallway.
Give you this door card, and never say I give it to you. Oh, my stomach is not feeling well. You guys go ahead, don't wait for me.
Then I'm going to find out if there are any experts who understand these drafts. What about you, Saya? Well, I'm not good with academic experts, so it's up to you. I'll have to keep an eye on my partner with stomach catch.
You find a manual sketch in the drawer, but it's framed. An immense Argugo's cone 10 feet high. You don't know what it is.
This should be what the lady was looking for. Strange. Why does she want this strange portrait for?
That's it. This is the thing I am looking for.
It is not right to inquire about other people's privacy. But I am really curious. What is painted on this?
This is my old friend. But now he's not him anymore. That is all I can say. This is your reward.
Then she put the portrait in the bag. Took out a strange gun from the bag. and handed it to you. While you are still playing with the gun, you notice that her look has changed.
Who allowed you to stand beside me? How rude.
The elegant and easygoing woman becomes mean and arrogant. And she is completely different from just now. You wisely left before she continued to get angry.
Are you an architect?
How can you tell?
I saw that the food didn't interest you.
Instead, you've been looking at these beams, columns and walls.
Ampere hours. That really makes you laugh. As you said, I am a manor designer. I was invited to Carter's dinner, mainly to visit the mansion.
What's so special about this mansion?
Not to mention the advanced design concept. Let's talk about the materials used in the construction. Wood is easy to build, is easily impacted by fire, corrosion and humidity. Reinforced concrete structures, while far superior to wood, have a lower tensile strength. Over time, reinforced concrete structures are prone to cracking. But construction here, as far as I know, its construction cycle is comparable to that of wooden buildings. And so far, I haven't found any subtle cracks. This is a revolution in technology ahead of its time. I must consult with Mr. Carter and learn from him.
You pull out the blueprints, and he starts to examine it carefully.
On the contrary, I think Carter came to me years ago. He talked about his plans to renovate the estate.
Then he mentions a lot of terms you don't understand. But you nod patiently. He has a second look at the blueprint, and suddenly finds something.
This seems to be an electrical circuit. But this arrangement, all the electricity is concentrated in one place. Aren't they really afraid of a fire?
What's the concentration all about?
It seems to be in a separate room underground, near the parking lot. This is after all a blueprint. Don't make this hard for me.
You find that the ground behind the vehicle is a thick metal plate. Surprisingly, there is a card lock on the metal plate that is the same as the room door. Underground is a winding passage. At the end is a small room. You find that the room is smaller than you thought. And under the shining glass jar in the middle, you see a table on the side. And on the table are piles of documents that have not been carefully sorted out. They are messy, just like Carter's room. A strange-looking container in the center of the table appeared to be filled with some kind of unstable energy. In addition to this container, there are several small jars that look like cans and contain strange substances. You get a chill when you touch them. Document to Plan A is useless. And I have a limited amount of time to implement Plan B. I have a hypothesis. Use the power of those things to protect the body with mercury. Mark the beacon with pillars. And step into the crack of time. No. This is not just a hypothesis. I must succeed, I must succeed, I must succeed. Otherwise. Be caught up by that thing. With the exception of the first two sentences and a few words, this jumbled article is difficult to understand. You can see that the spirit of its creator is extremely unstable. Those are all outdated books. You took down some books and looked at them. Some of them are all numerical records. Some of them are all in a language you have never seen before. And some of them are just full of bizarre and strange illustrations. After you search for a while, you finally found an ancient book written in German. This is a German transcribed book. The title is The Book of the Unknown Sacrifice. When you dug into it, you found that there were many horror records in it. The prologue of the book reads, I have traveled the world in search of the darkness, a journey that ended within myself. You have found an ancient and mysterious book, and you choose. When you take this book away, a black breath of ancient evil flows into your body from your ears. You hear crazy whispers in your ears.
This stone comes from the ancient Egyptian city of Bubasti, a precious relic. Unearthed by an investigation team unintentionally. It came here after a lot of trouble. Oh, should I call it a fate or what?
The housekeeper smiled softly, as if she was caught in a memory.
This stone comes from the unearthed. It came. Oh, should I?
The house. You feel this gem is filled with some mysterious power. It makes you feel savage and crazy. And then you see an endless desert through the gem. A group of warriors in armor is fighting on the sand. Suddenly, you feel a warm air blow from the gem. And when you come to your senses, a ring appears in your hand and the gem becomes dim.
What the hell just happened? How did the jewel become like this?
It's okay. I'll keep a secret of this gem. It won't be noticed if one of his collection went missing. I'll find one to replace it.
Thank you. Why would she help me? Now it's daytime, so it should be fine. And in case Madam is still alive, she must be desperate for someone to help her.
There is a lanyard at the top of the well and you can check the length to get you to the bottom of the well and you are going to. You know there will be no good result if you continue going down. But your sense of justice and curiosity attracts you to find out. The bottom of the well is full of the corpses of servants, all of them exuding an unusual purple color. You find a corpse dressed in very luxurious cloth. This is a luxury women's clothes that were covered in dry white powder like lime.
These are Mistress Carter's clothes. And those powders could be.
Your thought is full of thoughts. Just when you are melancholy, you smell the smell of ozone in the air. You saw a purple bubble in the clothes and there was something like a germ in the bubble which was throbbing. Just when you want to take a closer look, a phosphorescent glow in the center of the well bottom attracts your attention.
What is that?
There is a black hoop and you noticed a lot of precision coil in it. The hoop has some kind of mechanical vibrations. It seems to be working right now and you try to pick it up, but it is held in place. You found there is a fixed board under the hoop. You are going to You successfully remove the hoop from the fixed board and the sound inside of the hoop is missing you. See the purple bubble growing large, larger, and larger. There is a black
don't know how many of them are there. I have to get out of there quickly.
You immediately notice something unusual. The grass is yellow, as if it hasn't been tended by a maid in years. You recall that Mr. Carter was a perfectionist. Even if the place was off the beaten track, his compulsive and noble code of conduct wouldn't allow him to ignore such places. You remember it wasn't like this before. You're going to. The man died long time ago, but his body is in a bizarre state. The place where you touch his body instantly turns to dust. His body emits an unhealthy glow. The place is terribly quiet, like an eternal tundra favored by a long cold wind. You feel a chill down your spine.
Humans can't do damage like this.
A cold touch comes from your head, and Saya is holding a gun to your head. At the same time, you gradually see through the darkness of the room and find a horrible scene in front of you. There are corpses all over the floor, and Sherry is covered in blood.
It's you. Saya, can you please drop the gun?
Saya doesn't put down the gun.
Well, now you've seen this. I'll have to kill you. I didn't see nothing. And I know nothing. Alright, no more jokes. But, my partner, do remember to keep it a secret. Don't tell anyone about Sherry's secret. Did Sherry do all of this? Let's go back to the guest room first. This is not the right place to talk.
Saya takes Sherry and left the room through the window. You push the door and find that no matter how hard you try, the door is still closed. You see some experimental data on drugs on the table in front of you. As you enter the room, you see the housekeeper. You are keenly aware of a hint of anomaly that the housekeeper seems to have placed a piece of paper on the window.
What can I help you with?
You didn't expect the housekeeper to be here in the room. You hastily think of an excuse to avoid your uninvited visit.
I'd like to know when Carter will be back. We have initial progress in the investigation, but things need to be determined when he returns.
Master has not answered my calls since the morning, and I have no idea what happened. But he has an exhibition scheduled for today and should be back by evening. So, you go back to your room and rest first. As soon as I contact the master from my side, I will inform you immediately.
Well then, I'll take my leave now.
It doesn't take you long enough to wait before Saya opens the door. Who is? Followed by Sherry. You see Sherry's unusual appearance. She looks at you like a scared kitten, hiding behind Saya obediently.
Well, why don't you go first, Saya? Well, here's the thing.
You listen as Saya tells you about her investigation. A creepy sound surrounds you, like someone squeezing the liquid from a leather water bag. And a chilly, uneasy sensation wraps around your heels and stretches out inch by inch, covering your back.
What noise?
You see a humanoid creature burrowing, bowing, and biting in the dark, like a beast, a ravenous beast.
No, 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 Sister Saya, is not what you think of.
Sherry placed the bloodied corpse on the ground, ignoring the blood on the corners of her mouth and hands.
No, I don't want either, but I can't hold it. It's just Sister Saya.
I need to explain.
Sherry was obviously taken aback when she heard your voice. She is pale and inarticulate, repeating those words over and over again. You can feel she is very confused.
I just had this crazy urge, and when I regained control, I swear I didn't deceive you. But I'm at a loss for words. I'm sorry, Sister Saya.
She remained silent, unable to say.
Troublesome. Let's go. Wasting time in a potentially dangerous location is not a good habit.
On the other hand, Sherry declines your offer. She curls up and tightly covers her face.
No, no. I am really dangerous. Please leave me alone.
You stretch out to Sherry and pat her head softly. Sherry trembles from head to toe when you touch her on the forehead. You notice her tremblingly looking up, peeking at you between fingers.
Sister Saya, don't you despise me? I've murdered so many people, I've also made them.
People are the same. In order to live, we have to do something. Many years ago, I failed to save someone. You are like her. I can't just stay away.
I am a monster.
What's the big deal? Whether you are a human or a monster. All I care about is whether you are worth it, not who you are.
Sherry is clearly surprised. She blinks and puts down her hands, covering her face.
So, do you think I'm valuable to you?
Saya pulls her up and then uses her free hand to draw the shape of a gun and points to her forehead.
You know what you are asking. Can you still stand here unharmed if I don't think so?
I'm sorry.
Sherry replies in a low voice. She is timid and completely different from the lively girl you have just met.
Follow me. We should go now.
You broke into the room at this point, just as they were about to leave.
Well, that's probably what happened. Okay, and now you can explain it to me clearly.
Hearing Saya's words, Sherry hesitates for a moment. She covers her chest with her hand and takes a deep breath.
Actually, my body hasn't been in great shape for a long time. Feel dizzy for no apparent reason and fall into a coma on a regular basis. When I awoke, my hands were always covered in blood, and I was lying in strange places. If you find out about it, I'm afraid you'll think of me as a monster. I can't imagine what I've done in the past. So
As she says this, she raises her hand to cover her cheek, and the pupils visible between her fingers tremble frantically in fear.
As a result, I fled. At first, I assumed that those symptoms would improve in more crowded areas. But it wasn't what I expected.
Her voice drops gradually. You know what she wants to say. The hell on the earth and the cruel truth are all seen with your own eyes. Sherry's hands are bloodless. Her joints are white, and she is shaking slightly. You know that is a normal thing that happens when you are overexerted.
Did you kill those people?
It should be. It should all be done by me. Absolutely.
How did you kill them?
Ampere hours. Hey, actually, I can't think of anything. My mind was always foggy before I was seen by Sister Saya.
She looked at you nervously and spoke hesitantly and fearfully, leading you to believe she was not lying.
That body, however, does not appear to be traumatized.
Really?
Yes, Sherry, it's possible that something happened here. And by the time you came, those folks were already dead.
But maybe it's all my fault.
Sherry appeared calmer after a brief pause. The timidity on her cheeks had vanished, replaced by a kind of relief after the disaster. And you had the vague impression that the lively, joking girl had returned. The scorching blood-soaked sun was transformed into a brilliant sun churning with zeal.
Since you all believe me, I must find out why.
Sherry, I want to ask you, how do you know about the housekeeper?
More than 10 years ago, Ace and I followed a scientific research team into an ancient ruin. There, we met with an accident. Ampere hours. I do not remember what happened. But the result is that only me and Ace came out alive. After that I became like this, and my memory blurred. My body has remained the same as it was then. This time, Ace also asked me to come here to help me.
Her smile fades gradually, and her soft breath becomes a helpless sigh.
Overall, Sherry was the one who helped us out last night. I also gathered some information here. First and foremost, I believe Carter's commission to us is a ruse. I feel something is not right. He didn't want to cause more trouble, but he had to give an explanation to the servants of the mansion. Especially not during his busiest time of the day. The police will get in his way, so he asked us to come and go through the motions. But we don't know what he's up to yet. But at least we know Ace and Sherry are on our side. The following step is to determine what medicine is sold in Carter's home.
Wait, someone's here.
At that moment, someone knocks the door.
Dear guests, the housekeeper asked me to tell you. His master is back and is currently at the banquet hall, waiting for you.
Without waiting for a response, there was the sound of the maid's footsteps leaving.
Let's go. Time for the final show.
Keep you all waiting. Thank you for coming to my exhibition.
He walks the guests through his exhibits one by one. People are always awestruck by his collections, but they are also enthralled by the experience of having so many collections. After introducing the collections in the off-site exhibition cabinet, he put his hand on his brow and shook his head, and everyone was drawn in by his actions.
Those previous collections' prices, however, are less than 1/10,000th the price of the next venture. Let me introduce the most valuable exhibits in this exhibition. The Soladnit.
The gem curtain was raised, and the light of the gems drew everyone in. Countless streamers emerged from the gems, and their colors are indecipherable. You can't take your eyes off the gem, as if it holds all of your desires. People around you are as fascinated by the gems as you are, and you lose track of time and appear to travel to another world.
Finally, I'd like to express my gratitude to everyone who participated in my retreat exhibition. Your assistance to me will be fondly remembered in my heart. Enjoy yourself.
Carter raises the glass in his hand, and the servants around bring the glass to you. When you awoke from your trance, you noticed that the servant in front of you was stiffer than usual. After careful examination, you also discovered that purple liquid was leaking from his cochlea.
It is not good.
Thank you for your patience until the end too. This is my final gift to all of you.
You see an unusually unrecognizable color, and the phosphorescence that emerges makes people feel strange, a sense of doom. You notice the housekeeper staring at you and making a follow gesture.
We should leave right now. This is a trap, set by Carter.
We have to follow the ace right now. She knows what to do.
You run all the way to the parking lot. However, the sight before your eyes shocked you. The cars parked in the parking lot are rusted and useless. They seem to have been idle here for many years and haven't been maintained at all.
Ace, where are you? Ace.
I can't handle that much anymore. We have to leave right here, right now.
You find that the ground behind the vehicle is a thick metal underground.
This is the map that Carter used to draw the alternate passage.
You saw the housekeeper give Sherry a map on the table.
This whole house is in an isolated space. Follow the mark on the map, you can live here.
Ace, what are you going to do?
You saw the housekeeper shake her head with no answer to Sherry's question.
I really don't want to see you die here. Come on, now I have some things to do. I can't take care of you.
Sherry looked at the map, then at Ace as he walked away. You could feel her anxiety, and after a brief hesitation, she shoved the map to Saya.
Hurry, along this path. I must depart for a moment. There must be something. I have to do it on my own.
Do you want to assist, housekeeper? But do you know what kind of danger awaits you?
I know, but sorry. I have to stay this time. I have already escaped once, and everyone on the scientific expedition team used their lives to win the opportunity for me to escape. So this time, I absolutely cannot just escape. Ace must want to stop Carter's conspiracy. I want to help her. This has nothing to do with you. Please go first.
After that, Sherry looked at you seriously, waiting for your reply.
Sherry, I agree with you, saying that running away is not going to solve the problem. So I want to help you. I believe this must also be the solution to the current problem. Carter dared to lie to us. This debt is time to be paid.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Quick, we have to follow the ace.
An abnormal purple light cluster blocks the way. This is by no means a simple opponent. You are ready.
I know you guys want to chase Carter, right? Don't worry, I don't mean anything else. Now I'm here waiting for you to tell you something. Have you seen Carter's plan? Those plans were put on the desk in the safe room. And you must know that he is chased by something. That thing has its eyes on Carter, and killing Carter won't let it go. The hunter won't leave. It will linger on our planet until he loses interest. That would be a disaster. I can't just let the disaster happen, so I can't save Sherry. The only solution to the disaster is to get Carter to lure that thing out of here. When Carter dies in a foreign land, their sacrifices may be worth it. That's all I want to say. I know it's a tough thing to accept, but you are smart. I know you won't stick to the status quo, and I don't want you to die here. So leave now or kill Carter. Please give me an answer.
Sister Ace, I can understand your difficulties, but
I understand the current situation now. Let's go.
Saya does not hesitate at all. The sound of pulling the gun bolt let Ace know her choice. She seemed indifferent to the impending disaster. Ace does not stop you. She shook her head and go away.
Yo, look who's here. I didn't expect you to come here alive. And what? It's all over. Do you still want to stop me?
Carter is now standing comfortably in front of you. What would you like to do?
Do you really think that with these things, you can successfully hide from that thing?
Of course too.
He looks at you with a smug, arrogant attitude. Like he has found the perfect audience.
This is my best and perfect plan. To be honest, the experiment failed in the first place. I was very despairing. I have lost too many people, even Olu, my daughter. Luckily, I didn't give up. Since the attack of Eve cannot help me to get rid of that thing, I am starting to find the same power as that thing. And good luck will always favor those who work hard, and opportunities will always open the door for those who never give up. So I found this gem. A gem that has the power to peep into space and time. That's Soladnit. Now I use Mercury to cover me. The miracle of Delof is my waymark. And add some power used to charm the god. Passage is in. That thing will come at any time. At the moment when space-time are torn apart, I can use this power to leave. Leave. To the distant past or to the future. No one can hunt me. Haha. No one can.
Gradually, he began to laugh wildly. It is not like the sound that a normal person would make. And you can hear a bit of luck in that laughter.
You just want to run away. Why are you such high-sounding? You must be fear. So, you sacrificed so many innocent. Just to live for yourself.
Me? Am I living for myself? No, I am not.
Carter's face began to distort. He stared fiercely at Saya and his grace was swept away. In Carter's shout, the deep well in the middle of the garden suddenly trembled, emitting a frightening brilliant light. Countless streamers rushed to the sky. And at this moment, Carter waved his big hand and lifted Soladnit flat in front of him.
Ha 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 ha. Farewell. Fool, who are you? That thing cannot kill me, impossible. Unless... Ha ha ha. Tindelos. You are Tindelos.
Carter is laughing wildly at you.
Ha 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 ha. You will die, all of you.
Carter's laughter fades from your ears. He is dead. Sherry seemed to think of something when she heard what Carter said. She was shaking, but she was standing between you and that being. You heard Sherry's trembling voice, shouting at you anxiously.
You guys run now. They are the Tinderos. The thing that you meet before is power, less than a 10 millionth of their power.
Words have no light. I shall bestow upon you a preordained death.
Carter's face began to distort. He stared fiercely at Saya and his grace was swept away. In Carter's shout, the deep well in the middle of the garden suddenly trembled, emitting a frightening brilliant light. Countless streamers rushed to the sky. And at this moment, Carter waved his big hand and lifted Soladnit flat in front of him.
Ha 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 ha. Farewell. Fool, who are you? That thing cannot kill me, impossible. Unless... Ha ha ha. Tindelos. You are Tindelos.
Carter is laughing wildly at you.
Ha 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 ha. You will die, all of you.
Carter's laughter fades from your ears. He is dead. Sherry seemed to think of something when she heard what Carter said. She was shaking, but she was standing between you and that being. You heard Sherry's trembling voice, shouting at you anxiously.
You guys run now. They are the Tinderos. The thing that you meet before its power, less than a 10 millionth of their power.
Worms have no right. I shall bestow upon you a preordained death. We made it.
No, their power is rising crazily.
Just try this one.
Only then you realized that Saya was holding a deep blue gem tightly in her hand.
The power of the space and time is not a thing that we, human beings like you, can control.
The space around here has been fixed completely and Tindalos is blocked by the barrier called the reality.
Saya, we defeat Tindalos. We are winning this time.
Saya,
Saya is dying because of borrowing the power of the Soladnit.
it just feels like my guts are going to shatter it as okay, I am not dead yet.
The voice gradually decreased. Saya closed her eyes and hurriedly squeezed her arm to test her pulse.
Fortunately, just too tired and fell asleep.
Well, let's get out of here first.
The problem is, can you drive Saya's car?
How can you ask for so much from a cat?
On a country road in the early morning, a yellow car is slowly driving forward. Fortunately, it was early in the morning, and it was also a suburb, and there were no vehicles coming and going at this time.
Can you drive carefully? If it was Sister Saya driving, we would have already enjoyed smoked fish and egg cream rice by now.
Sherry grumbles disgruntled at you, and Saya rests on her lap. I thought it would be easy when I watched Sister Saya driving a car. I didn't expect such difficulty to drive it. In the argument between the two, Saya was woken up by you and dazed looking at you in the driver's seat.
Hey, just hold that control stick to the end, yes, and step on the pedal to the end right, and hold the steering wheel.
After that, she lay on Sherry's lap again and fell asleep. This little car that swayed left and right instantly raced like a steel beast on a straight road.
That's more like it. Sister Saya is so awesome.
But at the moment you feel a more terrible sense of oppression than in the face of Tindalos. Quick, Saya, wake up. I don't know how to brake the car. Because you bypassed the previously robbed gas station. The car without a gas supply stopped slowly on the highway, although it's difficult. You return to the town safe and sound. After waiting in the hospital for a day and night, Saya woke up again. You are now out of danger, but the tremors that remain in your body still make you uneasy. You know that the fragile membrane that repairs reality cannot always resist Tindalos. In the future, even in the next moment, they could possibly reappear in reality, and at this moment, you actually begin to understand Carter. He gradually became crazy under this long-term pressure, and finally took extreme evasive behavior. Saya sees through your thought, pets your face, and points to the noon sky. You understand Saya wants to tell you even if the night comes, the sun will always rise. When you were just about to thank Saya, Sherry gave you a blank look and told you that Saya meant it was noon. So let's go find something to eat together. Looking at the optimistic to people, the haze in your heart is completely dissipated.
Your position has been locked by Tindalos. It should be caused by the initial observation of this gem. This gem contains the power of time, even if you don't exist there, and Tindalos will hunt for it.
Carter had always believed that he could escape with the help of the gem, and the end was in from the beginning.
This gem can help me recover some of my power. I will absorb it and make a projection for you to weaken its effect. In this way, when you take it with you, you won't be found by Tindalos. At the same time, it will also be helpful for your space travel.
Besides Salsa, there are some special people. Is there any way for me to meet them before a certain event?
Yes, but I can't create the paradox of space-time. If there was such a possibility in some space and time, you can use my power to create such a possibility.
Thank you, Salsa.